Namaste, angels. This is going to be the weekly general reading for the period of Sunday, November 1st through Saturday to come, November 7th. I'm recording it on Halloween in the daytime before all the excitement begins. I think this is going to be quick because I also have to put up today the actual full moon reading, and I'm going to begin putting up the monthly zodiac readings as well today. Now, the rest should go up by tomorrow. If they don't all go up today, the balance should go up by tomorrow. So I think we're just going to get to a quick weekly and the love reading. I believe we'll see, because there is a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on. I just mentioned the full moon. It hasn't happened since 1944, which equals 9, and I've been seeing a lot of 9s. That the full moon occurred on Halloween. The 9s, every zodiac reading that I did so far, the monthly readings, because I've already done a bunch of them, the first card was a 9 for each sign. It wasn't the same 9. It was like the Hermit, the 9 of Cups, the 9 of Pentacles, but it was a 9. So that I think the 9 is going to be important. Now, 9 means humanitarianism. It also is about endings that give birth to new beginnings, and in supreme math, it just means new beginnings. It means born or birth. What also makes it more rare, this occurrence, is that, of course, it's a blue moon, which means that it's the second full moon occurring in a month. What is also somewhat rare is the fact that Uranus will be in exact conjunction with the moon, so Taurus and Uranus. And I think because of that, Uranus, because it's located in Taurus right now and retrograde, is going to play a huge role in the meaning of the full moon, and that it is going to be very much based in issues surrounding humanitarianism and, looking at a broader picture in terms of humanity versus just ourselves, but in a practical way because of Taurus. So it could even mean things like getting out the vote. For example, we have an election in the United States this week, and I don't think people are going to allow, there's a lot of voter suppression that's happening, playing games with the mail and moving boxes and destroying stuff and changing the rules at the last minute at the courts, lower level, and at the Supreme Court most recently, particularly for the state of Wisconsin. So there's a lot of bullshit happening, but I don't think people are going to allow themselves to be deterred, whatever that means. Like, they're going to get whatever their vote is, they're going to make sure that they do it. Because again, it's on the ground because of Taurus, but in conjunction with this energy of humanitarianism and trying to save humanity, whichever way you feel you need to go in order to save humanity. Some people think if we lose Trump, then, there goes the country to socialism, which is, in my opinion, is ridiculous, but that some people believe that, and they have that right. And then others believe if Trump is reelected, there goes democracy. That is my belief. So it is, in both cases, it is a case of feeling the need to save humanity and preserve humanity, at least in this country. But it does extend to the rest of the world. I mean, the rest of the world cares who we have as a president and how, as we as a country, interact with the rest of the world. So what else? We talked about the full moon, the fact that it's a blue moon, the fact that it's somewhat rare because it hasn't occurred on Halloween since 1944. The fact that the moon will be in exact conjunction with Uranus. What's also interesting to me is that, with the moon in Taurus, the sun just entered Scorpio. And Scorpio and Taurus are mirror signs, like opposite axes. So I think that's pretty cool too, and that's going to mean something as well. Um, I hadn't put in really much thought into what, but Scorpio is like the energy of alchemy, very high priestess, or witch even. I don't identify as a witch. I know many of you do. So using the word witch, maybe it's appropriate for Halloween anyway. But using the word witch, you get the idea of what I mean, and then combine that with sort of this Lady Godiva like energy of a woman in nature eating fruit and stuff, naked on horseback, right? Combining those two things to just make for something a really powerful feminine energy over the world for the next couple weeks at least. We also have, of course, the Day of the Dead, was celebrated for some. All Saints Day on the 1st, which is what those who practice it, those who observe it, would be recognizing those who were canonized as saints or we feel have been saints in your own life. The second is All Souls Day, and that's where people who observe that feast day pray for souls that are trapped in between heaven and hell. Like on the judgment card in the Rider-Waite deck, there's those like gray colored people, and they're all like trying to reach toward heads. It's Judgment Day, and those are the people that are like in between. Or at least that's how I envision it. Those are the people that are in purgatory. So the souls that are in purgatory are for whom we pray on All Souls Day that they can be released and go ahead and get up to heaven and not have to wait to Judgment Day. Oh, little remembered fact. November 2nd this year is also the day on which Black Solidarity Day will be observed, recognized. And I say little remembered because, those of you, like, for example, the same thing with like Juneteenth, those of you who watch my channel, if you didn't know before watching my channel about Juneteenth, you learned, in watching it. You didn't have to wait till 2020 when it seemed like the rest of the country discovered it, right? We've been talking about this for years. And similarly, we've been talking about Black Solidarity Day. And it is a day where Black people and allies of theirs pretty much don't have to do anything. Like, we don't have to, it's a day where we avoided contributing to society, like spending our money and going to work and going to school, and basically did things amongst ourselves, Black people and their allies. That was started back in 1969. I'll talk about that a little bit at the end of the reading. At the end of the week, on the 7th, I think on the last day for which the reading is, Mary has a feast day. So those are things that I'll talk about at the end of this. I still think it may be fairly quick, but let's get into it. Beginning with the dice, we're starting with 29. So spiritual partnership and maybe spiritual humanitarianism also. Forget it. And dirty movie. That could be the Aquarius. Remember, Uranus, which I said will be in exact conjunction with tonight's full moon, is the ruler of the sign of Aquarius. So the dirty movie for me tends to be things like online communications, online dating, FaceTime, sending each other pictures and videos and videoing stuff that's going on in society, and it goes viral, like all that kind of stuff. So some of that may be happening. Spirit says email. That could also be tied to an energy of Aquarius, right? A communication that is tied to technology. Eat cake. Somebody could be celebrating something. Happy birthday, any Scorpios out there, or maybe it is for Halloween. You're having a party or something like that. And lastly, dirty movie still. So we can probably expect to see some things going viral this week. And we're actually starting the reading with Major Arcana card Judgment. I hadn't realized, in reverse. So these are the people that I was talking about with the purgatory. This is Archangel Gabriel or Saint Gabriel on the horn. Represents the planet Pluto in the sign of Scorpio, which it rules. So there's also that energy of death and rebirth that I talked about with Scorpio. And it was atop another reverse card, the Two of Swords in reverse. So this is like having made some sort of decision. Could be an actual judgment or decision that's handed down. This I suppose could be tied to the election too in some way. Temperance was the next card, all about healing, recovery, restoration. So for you, for us, other than that, judgment in reverse is the card first and foremost about, again, jumping to conclusions, making presumptions, and assuming things. Don't do that. Instead, we're guided to ask questions, do some actual research, looking into things, be open on a spiritual level to new ideas and changing our minds, based on those new ideas and thoughts. In a romantic situation, it can be like a make or break period. Come to some sort of crossroad. We need to decide, like, where are we going from here, if anywhere. Maybe the relationship is dead and it's going, one way, or maybe it's going maybe it's going to keep on going toward heaven, like heaven on earth. It's going to be awesome. The judgment is about second chances in different areas of our life. Pretty much anything, second time around, second chances. That can be in love, that can be in work, career type, all of that. Reinventing yourself in some sort of way. At work specifically, there could be some sort of changes with your job when this card appears. Maybe again changing your career path or your responsibilities at work. And then most of all, for me at least, the way that I pick up the energy, judgment, whether reverse or upright, is about abundance that is earned. So it is about ultimately something good coming to us, and opening from there to the Five of Pentacles. So right away, we're starting out with the Scorpio and potentially Taurus energy. Five of Pentacles is like about, it's like worrying about lack. Doesn't mean that you are lacking. It's at least a fear of lack, whether that is in a material sense or a financial sense, or it's like emotionally or in your relationships, like fear of abandonment, fear of regret. Not fear of regret. Well, maybe that is a thing too. I don't know where that came from. Fear of rejection is what I meant to say. Two of Wands in reverse. A lot of reversals. So Judgment. There's the Queen of Pentacles. There's the Taurus energy. Queen of Pentacles actually in traditional tarot practice does relate most directly to the sign of Taurus, although it can also be representative of that of Virgo or Capricorn, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. It is a card very much about our home and our environment, and what we are wanting to do in order to take care of it and make ourselves feel as comfortable as possible and stress-free. And it's about nurturing ourselves and our friends and our family members and our relationships, and showing compassion and empathy for other people. It is a very feminine energy in terms of love. It guides us to like sort of rely on our inner feminine energy, whether we are male or female, in dealing with our partner. This is another sign of a decision that has to be made. Two of Pentacles immediately behind her. The decision is about something connected to an earthly matter. So again, whether it's a relationship, a living condition, a job, and then the Fool in reverse, which is a very Aquarian energy for me, because it is about taking a leap of faith, right? So it's like freedom. A leap of faith is based on free. You don't feel restricted, you don't feel held back, you don't feel scared, and you're going for it. Especially in reverse, the Fool is tied to that for me. Well, especially in reverse in connection to relationships, particularly romantic ones, but because it can mean that need for freedom and desire for freedom and independence is getting in the way of you meeting people, or of you just going from single to coupled, because you like doing your own thing so much, or in a relationship from it really developing the way that you want. It's just like that need for that craving of freedom is like blocking your ability to be interdependent. You're too independent. Which is why they say Aquarians have like the most difficulty in love than any other sign. And boom, that takes us to the King of Cups. How very appropriate is that? I actually have another 2 decks really that I have shuffled in advance too, sitting here, and those with those as well. The King of Cups appearing at the top. The next card is the Ace of Cups. So that's a good omen for us already. I'm going to get the stands now, pull 4 additional cards for us. This King of Cups is perhaps the Scorpio, but possibly a Pisces or Cancer, or just someone likened to those traits or attributes. This person is very generous. This is somebody who you may want to talk to if you are having some sort of emotional challenges or difficulties, or even spiritual, because they would be particularly compassionate and empathetic to you, and a good listener, sort of like, I don't know, like a, maybe not in a formal way, like a social worker, but just like a really, really good listener, that has your best interests at heart. Behind him is the 7 of Wands in reverse. Can definitely be about changing jobs, starting your own business if you've ever thought about it, or moving toward a job that you could really fall in love with, or that's doing what you love, something that you're passionate about. Card that will most directly represent us this week as a collective. Ooh, 5 of Swords. Competition, conflict. This could be talking about election too. We got the air energy. The president is a Gemini, like myself. Surrounding energy. Very nice. Page of Cups. Love, emotion, offers that are positive. Work and finance. Queen of Swords. Awesome. And last but not least, love and relationship. The King of Pentacles. Very nice. Beautiful cards this week, with the exception of maybe this this energy of conflict. All right, looks like everything is in frame good. So let's go back to the King of Cups, who I'll repeat may be an actual person in your life, and maybe a direct water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. He is a really balanced energy in terms of male and female, or masculine and feminine energies. This is somebody who's really balanced emotionally, and comes across as a very just kind and loving person or energy. If you really want to get into the tarot meaning, it may be somebody that is light-haired in your life. Just know also that energetically, if it's not an actual person, that when this card shows up, you are supported by the universe in ways that are tangible and that you can see, and the unseen. There's a prayer that we used to say in church when I went to church. The Apostles' Creed, of all that is seen and unseen. Yeah, that line just popped into my head. In relation to this King of Cups. So there's stuff going on that you can't see, that you don't know about, that is like your ancestors having your back, and again, the universe itself having your back, all of that kind of stuff. In general, this is a person who a card that reminds us, not a person rather, but a card that reminds us to nurture ourselves and to allow others to nurture us as well. Like giving and receiving love. In terms of work, it can be connected to like maybe a male boss or coworker or somebody, and this person again is very much on your side, has your back. And if you have questions or whatever, you can ask them. If you're wondering about how others feel about you at your job, or how you're doing there, then you can know that you are appreciated and respected in your work. And that things will probably be getting better for you, where you won't have to question that in the very near future. Love and relationship, obviously a fabulous card. There's not many cards that are more loving than the King of Cups in the tarot. So again, this is somebody who is generous and romantic and treats you well. If you're looking for love and he shows up, very, very good chances of meeting somebody. And again, the person may be light haired. So if you've already met somebody and you're wondering if that's the one, yeah, I'd say probably. In terms of finances, it can mean that you need to actually pay attention to what's going on in your finances. Like whatever the situation is, you need to be aware of it. You can't operate properly if you don't have any information. So guide you towards that. And spiritually, again, it's more of this very feminine energy, even though it's the king of or feminine, what are seen often as feminine qualities in terms of nurturing, compassion, empathy. And so treating ourselves with this maybe through things like meditation and trying to get the Scorpio energy particular, which again is in what we are in terms of the sun, is very much about getting to the depths. So is Pisces really too. Pisces actually rules like higher love, deeper love, unconditional love, all that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, it's going to be about like going deeper, so that maybe you can achieve that through meditation or something like that. So I'm going to move on to the surrounding energy in the Five of Swords, and this can show up to say that somebody that we care about, may be going away for a while. And that doesn't have to be negative. Some of us hear things like going away for a while, and we think of jail and stuff, and I'm not going to say that that's not a possibility, but that's not necessarily what it is. Of course, the other common meaning is conflict, and I tend to make note of how he has three swords like in his hands, two here, one here. It's two on the ground. So the Three of Swords is, attached to separation, pain, loss, and things like that. So it could be reflective. Again, I said this could be tied to the president. He is a Gemini. It could be reflective of loss in that area. Conversely, Joe Biden is, guess what? A Scorpio. Isn't that funny? His birthday is November 20th. So 11/11, 11/11, 11/11 with the 2020. Or 8, which in supreme math is about represents build, destroy. And it's like if you are not helping to build, then you are destroying. If you're not contributing, you're taking away. If you're not building up, you are tearing down. And so it's about giving to humanity and society, and helping to make things better. So that's interesting too. I'm a numbers weirdo. And looking at it from that perspective, I can even see like this being Joe saying, like I still want to extend an olive branch. Here's an offering for you. And then like Trump with his back turned, like, no, I don't want it. I'm going to stomp off. Anyway, it represents for us our surrounding energy. Other than that, I mean, especially if you are an American, if you live in the United States, the politics is part of our life too, but um, maybe in a more direct and immediate way. In general, the page guides us to, like, have some fun. It says that we've been uptight and um, just taking ourselves and life too seriously for a while, and it's time to like get back to daring to dream and having a good time and all of these things. In terms of love, it could be even reflective of a younger person. It doesn't have to be like a lot younger, like a May December relationship, although it may be. It could be even days younger than you that you're going to meet, or in whom you are in a relationship with, that you may receive some sort of offer from, and that leads probably to a deepening of the relationship. The card shows up to remind us that age is nothing but a number. And I think that could be extended to other differences too. Like they really don't matter so much if you have a real, genuine basis for a relationship. And, you should just get into it and enjoy yourself and not worry about what other people think. So moving on to the Queen of Swords. She is somebody that shows up to tell us that our instincts are serving us very well. She is very intuitive, and psychic even, and just really gets a lot of good messages from her body and her surroundings and follows them, uses them to the best of her ability. So whether you are a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or you are not, this card, when it shows up for you, is saying that you have been paying very attention to those inclinations that you get, and it is serving you quite well to do so. So keep up the good work. Um, in terms of work, there may be something again that needs to change, and you may know exactly what it is, because again, you get these vibes, right? These messages and stuff. You know what needs to change. It's not necessarily the best time for you to make an announcement though. And that might sound crazy, because it's like, well, if I can help, like, why wouldn't I help? It could, when, like they say that what's that saying? Every good deed, no good deed goes unpunished. It's like you would be doing a good thing, but it could somehow backfire on you. So just keep your mouth shut. If you're looking for work, you should be in a position to present yourself very well. She's well spoken. She knows how to describe her abilities and to demonstrate her abilities, and can get the job done. And also, so those inclinations and your intuition will point you in the right direction. And if you don't feel that that's happening, you should ask women in your life that may be able to help you. That's what it means when it shows up for work. There could be what guides us to look to the women in our lives to point us in the right direction. Love, she can have the ability to be too forceful. Why am I mentioning love when this is the work and finance placement? Because I see the way she's looking at the King of Pentacles. And so there could be a relationship that has been going on maybe for a while, and the King of Pentacles is slow. You know how the earth signs can sometimes be slow, especially if it's the night, but maybe not so much the king all the time. But earth signs, they're more methodical, so it takes time. There's steps, there's a plan that has to be played out, right? We can't just jump to the end. And the Queen of Swords is not as patient, maybe, so she may be trying to rush to the end. Like, I know what I want already, let's get married. And so I'm just going to warn you guys against that. There may also be maybe some extra movement between air signs and earth signs this week. In terms of finances, it can mean that a strong woman typically is going to play some sort of like vital role in your finances in the near future. And there's a lot that you can learn from her. if you're like open to what she has to say. So it's funny because in the work I was just talking about, like, she has something to say, she knows what to say, she knows what could solve the problem, but she shouldn't. It's different if we're going to her, we're approaching her, we're allowing her to help us, in our personal lives with our finances. So if you have the opportunity to do that, she is going to be helpful to you. And she may specifically be a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius in your life. And last but not least, the King of Pentacles is an excellent omen as it relates to love. And it said that this is another one of these sweep your cards. Another one of these cards that talks about you being swept off your feet. It tells us to definitely put our best foot forward, when presenting ourselves to somebody, even if we're already in a relationship. This week is, be on your best behavior and wear your formal dress week, but being careful not, to pretend that we're somebody that we're not. The King of Pentacles is not going to like that. He is one of these people, like, real recognizes real, and you're going to have to be real. They will love you for exactly who you are if you don't try to lie about who that is. So let's say, because this is an easy one, let's say he has more money than you, is a better job than you, more security, because that's what the King of Pentacles is known for, right? You don't have to feel that you have to pretend that you are, equally as wealthy or, have as many material possessions or whatever. He doesn't care. He will care if you pretend, because he won't like that and he won't be interested. But if you don't pretend, he's happy to be generous with you with what he has. So be honest and everything should fall into place, really. If you are already in a relationship, you can expect that it should get into like a more comfortable place, like where you like sort of sink into it and you guys sort of naturally and maybe like intuitively know everything's going to be all right, and you just feel good and you feel comfortable, you're satisfied. If some of you are in a relationship already where you are not happy and not satisfied, you are dissatisfied, then you need to say so in order for things to change. Again, we were reminded already by the Judgment card, but this card doubles down on it, that we should not, presume or expect others to presume or assume or read our minds or know what we want. We're going to have to make it clear and say so. I'm going to get the other cards now. So maybe the reading part will be fairly quick. And then I forgot I still have to talk about this other stuff. So I don't know how fast this one is going to be. But anyway, we're beginning again with the King of Cups. He is trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice maybe given to you or come from you. And also charity work is guided. We're guided to be generous with other people when the King of Cups shows up. And as I mentioned, the Ace of Cups is behind it. It is in reverse, but that energy is nearby as well. I'm going to take this King of Cups, maybe the Ace of Cups too, and throw them in there. Four of Wands, wanting to be seen. Contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy home life, and the successful completion of a project. This is about commitments and contracts, and up to and including marriage as well. I just opened it back to that same King of Cups and put it on top of him. So that may mean something for somebody. Engagement, marriage, deepening of commitment, moving in together. All right, now we'll just pick these up sort of randomly. Put some in the middle, some on the top, some in the bottom. And now that brings us to the Tower. Major Arcana card 16. A significant life event. A powerful revelation that leads to change. It is time to spread your wings. And behind it is the star, which represents the sign of Aquarius. Again, happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You are on the right path. Also upright, the 5 of Pentacles. Fears surrounding money. The wisdom to accept help from others. And uncertain self-employment. So some of you may be taking a risk, taking a leap of faith at some new career or, job, position. And it might be something that you prayed for, wished for, dreamt about, and that wish is being granted right now. And that can be enough to sort of be knocked, be bowled over. That's what the Tower is about. It's not always like the scary card, that's about horrible energy and people falling out of the window, like it looks like in the Rider-Waite. It's just about a major change that comes on very sudden in your life. So change can be difficult and scary, especially unexpected change. One minute you're doing this, the next minute something else is going on, but it looks like it's going to be good, right? Because we do have the star also upright immediately behind it. Also, the numbers, right? They're in order. So not only is the star behind it, but in the sequence of the tarot, the star is the card that comes after the Tower. So I think something very unexpected or major change that turns us upside down occurs. But again, it's something that we wanted to occur, or something that just opens up our world to all new things. Again, powerful revelation, aha moments. I get it now. I needed that to happen. All of that. Tower can also have to do with an actual tower, like a building or structure. So it could have to do with, again, moving in together, maybe. Having seen the 4 of Wands also. This could be tied to our politics. All of a sudden, there's a tremendous upset. People get knocked off their feet like, whoa, that happened. And then, again, happy. And we can make long-term plans from then. So I'm going to pull 4 cards now, again, for these positions. Let's get them back in frame. Remember our overall energy, the King of Cups. So we are dealing with very positive energy this week. So the card, again, that will most directly represent us, atop the 5 of Swords, is going to be Major Arcana card 11, Strength. Great inner strength. Release harsh judgments. Instead, exercise some forgiveness and compassion. So this is the strength to face any and everything that comes our way, including someone that we care about, being separated from them for some time. This is a positive card in terms of love, money. Any area of your life that touches strength is good, is positive, and it means that you're going to have the ability to face any and everything that comes your way. Surrounding energy atop the Page of Cups is another Major Arcana card, 11, Strength. True strength is displayed through kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. You have tremendous personal power and courage. So again, in your dealings with your close friends, family members, co-workers, things going on at your job, the ability to face all of them and to work through them. And also with regard to our politics, the Gemini and the Scorpio, strength to get out there and get your vote, have, in the box somewhere and have your voice heard, and to make it through the count, and to be patient as as you're watching the news and not freak out because you see one candidate or the other is doing better than the other. Wait for the count. Be ready to fight if people try to continue to suppress your vote, and all of that. All right. Oh, look. What is this? The 9 of Cups. I didn't know the 9 of Cups was there. I talked about the 9s at the beginning, and I was just trying to move these over a bit, and this card just, popped its head up. And all I could see was the 9. I didn't know what card it was. So the 9 of Cups is very much like the Star. It is about prayers being answered, wishes being granted, dreams coming true. It's like a big yes from the Minor Arcana. So very positive card, especially going along with the cards we already have, our overall energy of the King of Cups. Atop the Queen of Swords in your work in finance sector. Okay, they're being real cute today, right? It's another Queen of Swords. It's another Queen of Swords. This is why I had to get back to shuffling in front of you guys. Yeah, I just didn't like when you couldn't see me shuffle and you couldn't see these cards coming out like this on your own. The Queen of Swords is experienced, self-sufficient, brilliant, and funny. All of your life experiences have prepared you for this moment of truth. It's time to declutter your home, to clear away situations that aren't working for you anymore, and to disengage from people who create more drama than happiness. And last but not least, love and relationships. Atop the King of Pentacles, it's another Star. You're about to take a big leap forward with your life. Worry will be replaced with optimism, fear with hope, and joy is coming home to roost. Again, Major Arcana card, the Star, represents the sign of Aquarius most directly. Strength, this is the Leo energy. And the Queen of Swords, of course, is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone like into those traits or attributes. Hope you guys have enjoyed the reading. Those of you who wish to stick around, I'm going to now go over Black Solidarity Day and the Feast of Mary, the mediatrix of the world. What else did I say was going on? We'll get to it. Oh yeah, the transits on the planetary calendar as well. So just getting logged in here. Beginning with the Christian calendar. Again, November 1st is All Saints Day. I don't think I'm going to go into depth about what that is. I've already told you and have told you every year for the past, what is this, our 4th year? All Souls Day again is the card, is the feast day that reminded me of the card, the Judgment card, because of the souls in purgatory. So do pray for them if you are so inclined. And that takes us to the last day for which this reading is, the feast day of Mary, Mother and Mediatrix of Grace. So for that, I've gone to a website called salveregina.info. Of course, Salve Regina means Hail Mary or the Queen. And this is a website all about her. In recent times, special attention has been given to Mary's title of Mediatrix of all graces. This means that Mary is our mediatrix with her divine Son. All of our prayers and petitions go to him through her. He distributes through her all the graces we receive. Though it has not yet been defined as an article of faith that Mary is the mediatrix of all graces, the belief had gained almost universal acceptance among the most orthodox theologians prior to Vatican II, and nearly every recent pope has alluded to it or even expressly taught it. We know that Pope Benedict the 14th in 1758 has left these words on record, quote, "Mary is like a celestial river by which the waters of all graces and gifts are conveyed to poor mortals," end quote. Pope Pius VII in 1823 called Mary the dispensatrix of all graces. Pope Pius IX in 1878, in speaking to the bishops of the whole world, made use of the words of Saint Bernard, quote, "God wills that every grace should come to us through her," end quote. In his own words, he placed that his hope in the most blessed Virgin Mary. She was, quote, "with her only begotten Son, is the most powerful mediatrix and counselatrix in the whole world. She, who has destroyed all heresies and snatched the faithful people and nations from all kinds of duress calamities. And then dot, 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 end quote. In his encyclical on the Rosary of September 22nd, 922, which would be 1304 or 1111, in the year 1891, Pope Leo the 13th, another 4 or 1111 or master number 22, from the year 1903, or in the year 1903, another 1304 or 1111, says, quote, in a true and natural sense, we may say that from the great treasury of graces that the Lord has merited for us, nothing came to us by the will of God except through Mary, end quote. Pope Pius X in 1914 declares she is the dispensatrix of graces that Jesus Christ has merited for us by his blood and his death, end quote. Pope Benedict XV in 1922 clearly believed and taught that Mary is the mother of co-redemptrix and mediatrix of all graces. In May of 1917, which is the same month and year that she appeared in Fatima. Okay, the first apparition of Our Lady of Fatima was May 13, 1917, or 9/9. When World War I seemed to be going on intermittently, he said, quote, because all graces are dispensed by the hands of the Most Holy Virgin, we wish the petitions of her most afflicted children to be directed with lively confidence this awful more than hour ever to the great Mother of God, end quote. It was 8 days after this statement that Mary appeared at Fatima, as if in direct response to the Pope's pleas. Less than a year later, he wrote, quote, Mary suffered and, as it were, nearly died with his sufferings, with her suffering son. For the salvation of mankind, she renounced her mother's rights, and as far as it depended on her, offered her son to placate divine justice, so that we may well say that she, with Christ, redeemed mankind. Consequently, the graces which we receive from the treasury of the redemption are distributed, so to speak, by the hands of this sorrowful virgin, end quote. And it goes on and on and on, talking about all of the religious leaders over time who have uplifted Mary in this way. So again, if you want to continue reading, I got this from Salve Maria Regina.info. Moving on to, there's nothing on the Hebrew calendar that we're going to talk about or the Islamic calendar. Let's go to Black Solidarity Day. So I got this, I pulled this up from, it looks like New Paltz University, which is a college here, a SUNY college, State University of New York. So I'm glad to see that they're doing that. They're discussing this. Black Solidarity Day 2020 is Monday, November 2nd. Black Solidarity Day represents a long-standing tradition. This year it falls on Monday, November 2nd. Founded in 1969, Black Solidarity Day invites people of African American and African descent and their supporters throughout the country to abstain from participating in their regular activities. This peaceful absence demonstrates opposition to racism as well as social and civil injustices on a global level. The African American and African community and supporters assess collective priorities, political and economic power, and plans for the future. The cultural, political, and scientific history of our nation and our world is rich in the influence of many peoples, and our collective story cannot be adequately told without acknowledging and understanding the many contributions of African Americans and Africans. During the week of November 2nd, we encourage that all Consider incorporating materials or discussions that explore African American and African contributions. It goes on to talk about what they want to do at their school in terms of the tests. Like there's to be no testing or anything on this day, so that students who wish to can participate fully in the day, which is beautiful. And then it goes on to thank their faculty. So that's what Black Solidarity Day is about. I never forget it, but you never hear about it from my standpoint, at least. You guys can drop in the comments and tell me if you knew about it before today, or if you remembered on your own, or whatever. But I never see even these people that claim to be so, people call them hoteps. They claim to be so knowledgeable about the African diaspora and more black than or more supportive of black issues and people than the rest of us. I don't even see them. A lot of times they're just full of hot air. Anyway, I am moving on to the planetary calendar. And on that we have, of course, on October 31st, that's what precedes this and ushers in all this other energy. At 10:49 a.m., the full moon in Taurus occurred officially, 8 degrees Taurus. November 3rd at 12:57 a.m., Saturn will be biquintile the true node, which is Gemini. That's interesting. That is interesting. November 3rd is election day. They're both at 20 degrees. So that's another 11:11. Also on November 3rd, speaking of Gemini, at 12:49 p.m., Mercury goes direct. 25 degrees Libra. And that is the last for this week. So I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the full moon, and then I will bid you adieu. This is probably the first time that I did not bring up the almanac, and I can't tell you why I didn't. I guess I just forgot. Let me see if I can do it real quick. Okay, here we go. That wasn't so bad. A spooky Halloween blue moon. October's second full moon appears on Saturday, October 31st, making Halloween night extra special this year. This full moon is known as the Hunter's Moon, as this is the time of year when humans and animals alike are stocking up on food in preparation for the long winter ahead. Just how rare is a full moon on Halloween? Well, we talked about that since 1944. They have a hyperlink to click on to go to another page and find out. Because the Hunter's Moon is the second full moon in the month of October, it is also considered a blue moon. This term refers either to the second full moon to occur within a single calendar month or to the third full moon in a calendar season. Despite the name, the moon won't actually appear blue tinged. It will be its normal golden hue near the horizon, transitioning to a bright white overhead. But wait, here's another fun fact that you should know about this full moon. The Hunter's Moon will be the smallest full moon of the year, a so-called mini moon, thanks to it being farther away from Earth than any other full moon in 2020. As you might guess, a mini moon is the opposite of a supermoon. This phenomenon is caused by the moon's oval-shaped orbit and Earth, which results in the moon being farther and closer to the Earth at different points of its orbit. It's also worth noting, as with a blue moon, a mini moon won't actually appear any different than a normal full moon does. Still, it's a nice fun fact to know about this rare Halloween moon. For decades, the almanac has referred to the monthly full moons with names tied to early Native American and colonial folklore. However, both the harvest moon and the hunter's moon are unique in that they are not related to this folklore. nor necessarily tied to a single month. Instead, they relate to an astronomical event, the autumnal equinox. The harvest moon is said to be the full moon which occurs nearest to the date of the autumnal equinox, which is September 22nd this year. This means that either September or October's full moon may take on the name the harvest moon instead of this traditional name. Similarly, the hunter's moon is the first full moon to follow the harvest moon, meaning that it can occur in either October or November. It goes on to talk about moon phases. Why is it called the hunter's moon? Some folks believe that this full moon was called the full hunter's moon because it signaled the time to go hunting in preparation for winter. Since the harvesters had recently reaped the fields under the harvest moon, hunters could easily see the fattened deer and other animals that had come out to glean. The earliest use of the term hunter's moon was cited in the Oxford English Dictionary from 1710, another 9. Some sources suggest that other names for the hunter's moon are the sanguine moon or the blood moon, either associated with the blood from the hunting or the turning of the leaves in autumn. I thought the blood moon was the moon we had last time, the harvest moon. Anyway, some Native American tribes who tied the full moon names to the season's activities called the full moon the travel moon or the dying grass moon. In lunisolar calendars, the months change with the new moon, and the full moons fall in the middle of the lunar month. This full moon falls near the middle of the 9th month in the Chinese calendar and the Marchesvan in the Hebrew calendar. In the Islamic calendar, the months start with the first sighting of the waxing crescent moon a few days after the new moon. This full moon is near the middle of Safar, the second month of the Islamic year. Then they have a video that some of you may be interested in watching. And then it goes on to talk about the harvesting above ground crops, the 21st, 22nd, and 31st. So today are the best days. Below ground crops, the 4th and the 5th of the month. We missed those. Same thing with setting eggs. We missed it. It was the 5th and the 6th. Fishing the 1st, and then the 16th through the 31st. So if you want to go fishing, go now. Corn planted under a waning moon grows slower but yields larger ears. Babies born a day after the full moon enjoy success and endurance. A new moon in your dreams promises increased wealth or happy marriage. And I just remembered why I don't normally, or why I didn't have the Farmer's Almanac open. This isn't the moon reading. This is the weekly reading. But I guess I was supposed to say something that just popped up there. Also, I had been thinking, like as I mentioned, that the blood moon, and I'm still not sure that it wasn't. The blood moon was the first full moon that we experienced, the harvest moon, and that this is the blue. And that had led me to thinking sometime early in the wee hours of this morning, when I probably should have been asleep, that that was representative maybe of political parties in America too, that the red, had their time at the beginning of the month, and the blue perhaps now at the end. I also had a dream that wasn't really like my visions about stuff. So, no, when I make a prediction or whatever, and I say it very like matter of fact, right, very emphatically, this is what I saw, like this is what's happening. Um, it wasn't like that, but it was a dream about the with the candidates. They were there, and like in the background, Beyonce, "Irreplaceable" was playing. And they did, at least particularly that line. I woke up with that line. To the left, everything you own in a box to the left, and after I was awake and I realized that all of those things had happened simultaneously. Like that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like one of my visions. I had to like put it together. Um, that's when I was thinking that maybe the left to the left had something to do with the left wing and all of that. Anyway, enough of that. I had wanted to talk to you in general about my feelings about the moon. I guess I can still do that quickly. I'll do it. I had made these little notes for myself. So Aries, for you guys, this is your second house, right? Because when it was the Aries moon, that was your first house. Until we move, it moves counterclockwise. Um, so this moon is going for you is going to cause you to focus on your self worth. Could be your finances, what you're eating, maybe like your skills, things that you work on, maybe wanting to improve those or whatever, change them, and having your voice heard. Okay, that's what the second house is. Taurus, for you, it is your first house, the first house of self. So that's going to be your focus, yourself, your ego, and how you present yourself to the world, whether that is, metaphorically or in terms of your appearance, your look, the aesthetic of it all, and your identity as a person. Like, who are you? You know, Gemini, it is our 12th house of endings, and we are probably going to be pretty focused on our dreams. like, ironically, I just told you about one of my dreams. I'm a Gemini. Our dreams, our spirituality could be tied to pain and loss, or we could be focusing on those things like from the past. Um, Sex, sex could come up. Um, and yeah, things like isolated places, like I talked about with the Five of Swords. Being in isolation or being separated from people because you're in jail or some sort of institution or hospital, God forbid, or something like that. Um, and it can also be about channeling messages. Like I said, the Queen of Swords is very, very intuitive. Cancer, it is your um, 11th, 11th, and you are going to be focused on large groups, acquaintances, social media, online community, like big communities and things like that. The larger good, the greater, the more global. So some of the things I was talking about at the beginning. Leo, your 10th house, self-employment. Maybe that's what these came up. Self-employment, your career, your public image, leadership. Okay, leadership. Maybe that's why we got the two strength cards, one on top of each potential leader. Virgo, travel, the ninth house. This is foreign affairs. Travel is what the ninth house rules. Maybe international travel. Maybe dealings with people that are away from afar. Your spiritual community, gurus, and maybe a father figure. Your belief systems. Libra, your eighth house. For you, this is the occult and the energy of transformation, death, and rebirth. Sex could come up for you guys too. Also, inheritances and things from other people, particularly money. And some of you may get that other people who are not Libra suns, or even moons or rising, but maybe if your Mercury or Venus or Venus, particularly Venus, is in Libra, because that's where they're both currently located. She's there, Mercury's there. Um, Sagittarius. Did I skip Scorpio? Scorpio. Your seventh house. That's relationships, like your closest one-on-one relationships, your business partner, your romantic partner or interest, your BFF, right? Your clients and stuff like that. Closest relationships, one-on-one relationships. Sagittarius, your sixth house. Um, what did I right here? Health and service to the world is going to be your focus. So again, one of these things about the larger scheme of things. Also, your job, your day-to-day work. Capricorn, you love, romance, fun. Children could come up also. What is this? Fourth house, right? Foundations, families. Aquarius, your mother or mother figure, family members, ancestry, emotions, your emotional well-being. And lastly, Pisces. Your siblings, something involving speaking or teaching or writing, and perhaps short distance travel. And that's what I have for you guys. Again, I hope you have enjoyed it. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. And when subscribing, please do hit both the subscribe button and the bell button. I do appreciate it. Namaste.